So, good afternoon, everyone. I really hope you're enjoying the Odoo experience so far. Thanks for being here. I guess if you decided to join me today, you are, just like many other people, struggling with knowledge management in your company. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one having a Google bookmark that looks just like this, right? No worries, of course, it's not my case anymore. And that's why I'm really glad to be here today to talk to you about how Odoo centralized information with the knowledge application. I'm pretty sure we've all experienced that kind of moment when we are looking for one specific information, but we cannot find it anywhere. Is it in a folder in my laptop? Is it in a cloud drive in my mailbox? Or even in that famous notepad or post-its that some of us still keep next to our computers? Is it a Google Sheet, an Excel file, or a PowerPoint presentation? And let's not even talk about versions. Am I sure that it's the most updated version that I have? Or is it an outdated one from 6 months ago? Well, at Odoo, it also became complicated. With our employees' number growing to more than 3,000 now, with more than 15 different offices all around the world, and with new teams, sub-teams, and departments being created so often, we had to think of a way we could centralize information. And that's why we decided to create the Knowledge app last year on version 16. In the age of information, as you all know, knowledge sharing is a key to success for both individuals and companies. So our app has been created and designed to help businesses document their collective knowledge, making data useful and usable. Because of course, it's super important for us to have knowledgeable people in our companies, but if knowledge is only in their head, well, it makes it super useless. So our app has been created to help employees and businesses create and document their knowledge. I guess you all heard about Odoo's motto and vision. As our founder Fabien said, we help employees do more in less time through affordable software. And that's exactly the idea behind the knowledge application. So today I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about how Odoo tackled this challenge of knowledge management and how we created a tool that simplifies the way we manage knowledge. And after 1 year, here is how we slowly started to use the app and how we shifted from all our scattered documents to one single tool used by our employees worldwide. So of course, I won't lie to you, it was not easy, and we faced some challenges. Because while Odoo's knowledge application is a really powerful tool, its effectiveness really depends on how well it's implemented and integrated into your business workflow. Bad news, it's not a magic wand, but it's a really powerful tool that, used wisely, can drive to remarkable results. So basically, we realized that it's not only about having the right tool, but it's about how to use it correctly. So please take a second, each one of you, and think of your own company. Think of all those documents, all those links that you're using daily to work and be efficient. Imagine yourself, you're here in front of that folder with all your thousands of documents, or even in front of that huge pile of documents. How would you structure the information? How would you organize and classify all those documents and all those information that you need in your daily job? Not so easy, right? I think we can all agree it's a complicated exercise. Well, that's exactly what we faced at Odoo. Where should we start? Well, we wondered, how should we structure the information? How would you classify all this to avoid the tool becoming a mess? Should we organize it by country, by department, by teams, by sub-teams, or by thematics? Basically, we had thousands of options. Our second challenge was how to keep the information up to date. How do we make sure that the information is always updated and is correct? Should we trust our employees to do it by themselves, or should we choose some person who will be responsible for that? That was our second question. And of course, last challenge, as you can imagine, that famous change management that we all experienced at least once in our career. And that is always a real challenge for any company. Basically, how do we educate our employees to make sure that they drop their dear drives and thousands of documents and start using the Knowledge app exclusively? That was a real challenge for us. Even though it's our own app, I can assure you it was not easy. Well, here is how we did. In the beginning, when the app was launched, we didn't apply any rules. So basically, anyone could access Knowledge, create any documentation that they wanted, and basically structure it as they wanted. And as you can imagine, it quickly became a mess. So that's why with our learning and development team, we decided to tackle this challenge, and we decided to dive into the app to create a clear structure and a clear way of working. I won't lie to you, there were a lot of trial errors, but we came up with a clear way of working. We also ran a lot of user tests along the process, and that was a huge opportunity for us. First of all, to have feedbacks from our employees, because it's important to build a tool that is useful for them, but also to be able to see how they navigate through the app and how they do it by instinct, to see what works and what doesn't and what really makes sense to them. And that's how we created the Knowledge that we have today. But let's have a closer look together so you can witness our transformation in action. So basically, when an Odooer lands on the Knowledge application, he first has this welcome page. This is super important. Here he can basically find some common guidelines and some rules to respect to make sure that everyone is on the same page and knows how to use the tool. It's also super important to keep some harmony inside the app and make sure that everything looks good and works properly. Regarding the structure, that was our first challenge. We decided to work with different workspaces. So the first workspace is the common process. And this basically can be considered as the Odooer Bible. So basically, any Odooer can refer to that documentation and find the general common processes that apply to everyone, no matter the country. So that's for all Odooers worldwide. Next to that, we decided to create one workspace per country so that each country is able to add their own documentation and specificities based on the country. And inside those country workspaces, we decided to classify the information by department so that each department has its own space and the information is easily accessible to anyone. And of course, that same department structure has been applied to all our countries. On top of those common processes and country workspaces, we also decided to have our newsletter accessible on Knowledge. So this newsletter is released every month, and we wanted to have it here so that the information doesn't get lost in the thousands of emails that we receive every day, and Odooers can come back to it. So of course, if an Odooer is looking for one specific document and one specific article, he doesn't have to go through the whole structure. He can just use the search bar and look for that specific document that they want. So that's super easy to use. Another tool that is pretty nice is to be able to add it to your favorites. So before I was learning and development officer, I was working in CSTD. So I was account manager, customer success manager in sales. So of course, I had to come back to that CSTD file pretty often. So I'm just able here to add it to my favorites so that it's accessible here right away. No need to go through the whole structure. That is, of course, super convenient and super easy to use. Regarding the content management, that was our second challenge. We basically decided to designate one or two Spocks per team. They are the person responsible for creating, maintaining, and updating the content at any time. So this was possible thanks to the access settings that we have here. So the Spocks have the edit rights, and of course, the rest of the team has the reading rights. So we are sure that they are responsible for that. Of course, if someone from the CSTD team has something interesting to share, we decided to create a draft file. So here, anyone from the team could create a new article if they have anything relevant for the team, and the Spock will be responsible for checking the content, making sure it's relevant, and if it is, he can just drag and drop the article super easily in the actual structure. So with those this structure and those access rights defined, each team is now able to create its own content and to be fully independent. Of course, as you can imagine, the Knowledge app also has a lot of great features that we can take advantage of and that our Odooers are using daily to save a lot of time. So I wanted to show a few of these so you can see how we actually use Knowledge. So first of all, let's stay in my CSTD team. As all the team, they have a team presentation. And this includes an embedded view from the employee app. So basically, if you're looking for someone in the team, if you want to know who is the manager, who is the team leader of who, you can get a direct overview here, and this is directly connected to the employee app. So that's super convenient because, of course, the information is updated at any time. As soon as you create the employee, the team will be updated. So no need to go into that Excel file that you had before and update the team structure every time. This is done automatically. A second tool that we really encourage our Odooers to use is the link to an article option. This is super important to avoid duplicating the information because that can be very dangerous. So here I see that my CSTD team has an onboarding article, but as you might know, onboarding at Odoo is common to everyone. So when you arrive at Odoo, you have a common onboarding no matter the department. So we have common documentation for that. But CSTD decided to create an additional article because after the 2 weeks of onboarding, they have some specific workshop only for them. So they created their article, but they were able to create a button to redirect to the general onboarding documentation. So that way, no need to duplicate, to copy-paste everything, and all the information is accessible right here directly. Super convenient, of course. A last tool that I wanted to share with you, and for me is a real game changer, is the clipboard. This can really help save so much time in your daily job. So let's imagine I'm still a CSTD, so I'm managing different clients, and I just sold a new pack to one of my clients, a success pack of 25 hours. As always, I will need to go into the project of that pack, if it loads. Oh, let's try on another page. Okay, so I'm in my project app. Perfect. So I will have to go to the project and basically go to the task of my new pack that I just sold. And what we do at Odoo, we always do the same. We will fill in the task with the right template so we can transfer all the information to the business analyst who will take care of that project. So basically, I'm here in my task. It will load. And before, when I was in CSTD, when we didn't have knowledge, you don't imagine how messy it was. I had to go through my thousands of documents and look for the right template. I was not sure that this template was up to date. I was not sure it was the correct one. So it was pretty messy. Now, thanks to Knowledge, no need to go from one application to another, one page to another. I have a direct access to Knowledge right here from any other application, and I just can go dive into the Knowledge content, look for my right article. So here I'm looking for my template. Here it is. I'm redirected to Knowledge directly. And here is my template. That's the right one. Perfect. As it's included in a clipboard, I can just click on use it as a description. And in just one click, Odoo completed the right template for me and is now ready to be used. So this has been done automatically and super properly in only 2 clicks, and no need to look for the information in my thousands of documents. And of course, all this is accessible from any app in Odoo, is fully integrated, and can really help save a lot of time. So as you've seen, with this new tool, we are now able to have our information and our documentation accessible from any application at all time. We have some documentation that is clearly structured, so pretty easy to find, and everything is centralized in one single tool that can be shared with our employees worldwide. So this tool has really become a really powerful asset for us, as it avoids losing precious time and precious data. We see that since our Odooers started using the app daily, we had a lot of great feedbacks. And we really see that it can make a difference in their daily life and make it easier to have the information accessible. Of course, I won't lie to you. We know that the journey has been long so far and is still not over yet, as the construction of a well-structured and centralized documentation is a long process and still a work in progress. We still want to make it evolve and make it better. We know that change is never easy. It takes time, but it's clearly doable and it's clearly worth it. And if I can make you one promise, is that this new tool can really help revolutionize your business management and bring it to a next level. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed, and now let's dive to the Q&A session. With Luc, our product owner, who will help me on the questions.
Hello there.
Hello.
Well, first, thank you for this presentation. I think it was really great to see a concrete use case of a very big company using knowledge. It's great to see it works. I have some questions here in the pad. The first one is, well, there's a lot of people in Odoo. How do you make sure that an article is shared with some people, but not everyone?
Yep, so basically, in knowledge, you have 3 different options. So you have, correct me if you want to add something, you know better than me. But you have so the workspaces that are basically accessible to all Odooers, so all the users from the database. And then if you don't want to share that to everyone, all the employees, you can create private articles, so those are just for you. And once you share them with the access rights that I showed, once you share it to 1 people, it will go from private to shared. So you can have personal articles if you want. You can share it with a few colleagues. And if you want it to be accessible to all your employees, it will be a workspace.
Okay, thank you. Another question, you conclude by saying it's a work in progress. Do you have any idea of what the next steps would be? Something you have in mind or are working on for now?
Well, clearly, that tool has been implemented for a few months now. We have a structure, but some teams still need to add their content. I think that's one point. We clearly still have missing content sometimes. That's also why we keep asking constant feedbacks to our employees to see what's missing, if we need to correct some things. And yeah, the idea is that we really try to make Odooers take the habit to use knowledge because it's new, so change never easy, as I said. But we really try to, for example, as of day 1 during the onboarding, to really redirect to knowledge when they have a doubt, when they are looking for an information, so that people get used to using knowledge.
Okay, great. Maybe a bit about the features. When you have very long articles, it's quite tricky to navigate.
Mhm.
Do you sometimes maybe use table of contents?
Yes, so of course that's a feature that is possible. So basically you can add a table of contents if you respect, if you use the proper headers
Mhm.
into your structure. You can just create a table of content just like in a Word, for example. It works the same way, and if you add content afterwards, you can refresh, and the table of content will automatically be updated.
Okay, and so you created, for example, documents per teams. How do you manage those teams? Do you just, for example, you have the CSTD, the direct
Mhm.
sales, etc. How did you decide which document goes into under what which file?
That was the mission of the Spocks.
Mhm.
So those people who are responsible in each team created the content. Of course, if we see that some articles can be interesting for other people, then we will tend to switch it to common processes.
Mhm.
So we try to really structure it and have minimum information in each team only for their subject.
Okay, cool. Are there articles that are on odoo.com and that are published so that everybody can read them? Or for now, it's not planned yet?
Yes, there are a few. I think at least it's possible to
Mhm.
publish an article to someone outside of Odoo.
Mhm.
So you have an option just to make it public, and you can just share a link to external users, so who are not users of the Odoo database.
Okay. There's some questions about the next features or the things that could or cannot work. So maybe I will
I think
answer
this one's for
those.
you.
Yeah. So translation, AI integration, we do have it in version 17. We make calls to ChatGPT and it can help you write the content or update it. Um, Let me see. Is there any plan of, for now, sharing articles with customers? Maybe if you're a consultant or someone in support?
Well, it's possible to do
Mhm.
it, as I said, with the if you want to make it public and just share the link with
Mhm.
clients. That's of course possible. I think that a few of our employees are doing it, so yeah, that's clearly an option.
Okay. The last questions, and this from me. Imagine you become the product owner of knowledge, and you can like create a feature or change something. What would you change?
As I'm a real fan of emojis, I would add
Mhm.
the option to be able to put emojis in the like as a feature,
Mhm.
but I think if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, there's a command
that's
for that.
accessible
Yeah, slash
in.
emoji. Okay, well,
Okay, great.
cool. Okay, well, thank you very much. It was
Thanks,
very
Luc.
clear, and I mean, it's awesome to see that you're probably in charge of the biggest knowledge base for now because it's more than 3,000
Yeah,
users, and it's working just fine. So congratulations and thank you.
thanks to you. Thank you.